Welcome everyone again to the session on mastering JSON package in Automation 360. We had this package from a long time, but we did have some of the updates recently, which makes it super useful whenever you're going to use JSON, especially working with the web services. So myself, Arjun Esmeda, and we also have Jignesh Raval. He's a senior software engineer at Automation Anywhere. We also have our expert community member and MVP. He's also a specialist software engineering at LTI Mindtree. Hi, Chan Mohammed. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to say hi to our folks?
Yeah, thanks, Arjun, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening from wherever part of the world you are joining today.
Awesome. Thank you. And we also have Anubha from our Docs team. She's going to take us through the Docs portal. Once we are done with all the demos, Chand will run us through all some interesting demos for us. And Jignesh will help us answer any questions you have. He's from the engineering team. Let me quickly take you to the agenda. So because our primary focus for this session is to speak about the JSON, we'll start with basics in case if some of you have not worked with this format before. So we'll try to understand what JSON format is. Where would you want to even use JSON format? So it's very important to understand the use cases before you kind of learn or invest time into learning something. So that's where we will show you some use cases. How is it super useful? And it can be like there are variations of JSON format. It can be as simple as a very small one, or it can be a super complex one too. So we'll look at how different JSON formats are available and how can you deal with all these in our automations. I do notice that some of you are raising your hands. In case if you have any question, please feel free to put it in the Q&A window so that our experts can answer those questions. We'll also take you through different actions in the JSON package. We'll look at data conversion techniques, converting JSON to dictionary and vice versa. And we'll also have Anu present the Docs portal reference content. And at the end, we'll also talk about the upcoming meetup, and we'll have Q&A for all of you to get your queries resolved. You don't have to wait till the end to have specific Q&A answered. Feel free to type it in as soon as you have some questions, and we'll try to cover them as well. Okay. And then, like, I did post a promo video on LinkedIn. By any chance, did any of you see the promo video? I also showed one of the JSON format and asked you in case if you have any idea about how you would extract data from that JSON. If you have seen that video, you can probably say yes. If not, it's still okay. Okay, just to show you, this is one JSON we had, and we wanted you to take a look at this because you can see how this is formatted. And then how would you extract data if you find a tricky JSON like this? Anyways, you don't have to worry about in case if you have not encountered such JSON. Chand is going to show us a couple of examples of how this all works. And before we get in, I have something interesting to show you as well. So we have a Pathfinder giveaway. So if you hang on with us till the end of the session and be an active participant, you will be entered to win one of these three swag packs. We will notify the winners through email. If you're interested to know more about the rules of this giveaway, feel free to scan the QR code shown on the screen, and then you'll get more details. Okay, now let's get started. Chand, would you like to share your screen and walk us through from the basics of what JSON means and how have you solved like working with different kind of JSON formats, and how would you like our learners to use it as well?
Yeah, thanks, Arjun. I'm sharing my screen.
Sure.
Um, Let me know
In-
once you see my screen.
yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So uh, Today we'll see how, what is JSON, and then understand the basics of JSON. That is what are the different data types we have, what is the structure of JSON, and then we'll see a simple JSON format, how we can deserialize it to extract the required values, or how to parse the JSON information to the different nodes and get the values. And second demo will be an interesting one where we'll see a complex JSON from Ola Maps API, and then we are going to fetch some of the values from the JSON, and then hit or consume another API to uh, basically you will get the latitude and longitude of a location, and then you will convert that to a human readable address. So we'll get started with what is JSON. The full form of JSON is JavaScript Object Notation. It is a lightweight data interchange format, and uh, this is very easy for humans to read and write. You will see an example in the next slide. And the same goes for the machines to parse and generate the JSON response from a message or a document. Commonly used for JSON is commonly used for transmitting the data between a web server and a client. The common use case is the APIs. If you hit any API, or if you make any API call, the JSON outcome will be either in the XML, or the response will be either in the XML or in the JSON. So this is one of the JSON example. That is, you can see you have orders, and if you see here, orders has square brackets. Basically, it is an object which has which is an array, and it has some more objects with different data types. That is, you can see state enclosed the value as CA, that is string, and you have quantity as 2, that is a number, and the price. Basically, you have different data types residing inside this array. Now we'll just look at what are the different JSON types we have. The first one is array. Array in JSON is an ordered collection of items enclosed in the square brackets. If you see below example that I have minimized in the screenshot to make it simple. So the orders field is a list containing the dictionaries. Basically, it is an array. Let me go back. So we have different JSON objects inside it. How you can extract the information is basically use the JSON package, grab all the nodes inside this object and loop through them and get the required values. Now, what is a dictionary? The dictionary is basically the dictionary in JSON is a collection of key value pairs enclosed in the curly braces. If you can see in this example, in the orders array, there is a curly braces, and you have some key value pairs as order underscore ID with a number, followed by customer items and payment and status. Now, each item within this orders object is a dictionary representing the order details. That is customer details, items, payment, and status. So what are nodes? Generally, if you are working with any sort of JSON, basically, if you see the curly braces, right, or the objects residing inside this, you will call as a nodes, which can be the list, dictionary, or key value pairs. If you see the example here, the order ID and it has a value 098765 is a node, and customer is a node. Again, it is having the list of objects, that is individual objects, that is key value pairs, name, customer ID, email, and address. Now, I was talking about key value pairs, right? Key value pairs are the individual pieces of data in the dictionary, or it might be at the root level of a JSON. Example is again customer ID or name. And the interesting part here is the root object, that is, let me go back. The root object that is orders is an array, and it has different key value pairs. If you see, it can hold different data types, that is string, numbers, and within this array, you have uh, multiple objects with different data types. Now that we understood the structure of what JSON is and the basics, now we'll see how we can solve or extract or parse the information from JSON using a JSON package in Automation Success Platform. So the latest package version which I'll be using in this demo is 1.6.0, which is available in .33 release. And for this demo, I'll be using community version of Control Room. So we'll see what are the different use cases we can use the JSON package. The very first thing that is APIs. That's a common use case where if you consume any API, the outcome of the API you will see in a JSON format. Now you will parse the JSON to extract the required values from the API response. And the second common use case is configuration files. Consider if you are building a bot and you want to store some configuration details in a file so that you won't basically if it is changing and you want to update based on the business scenarios, you can go for JSON where you will just update the key value pairs uh, in the config file without touching the bot. So basically, no need to make any code changes. Bot can dynamically pick the values from the configuration file. The other common use case is if you have worked on some point solutions using .NET or any other programming language. In the basically, if you want to store the environment details, consider if you are using XYZ package and its version, still you can go for JSON. It will be very easy to configure and manage different environment settings, that is development, testing, and production to this JSON configuration files. Now we'll just to the right side, if you can see, we have the new commands added to the JSON package, that is convert dictionary to JSON and convert a JSON to dictionary, update node value, and add node value. So first, let us take the same example of the APIs. You are consuming an API and you got the JSON response. So you will grab the JSON response in a variable, or if you are having any dynamic configurations of a bot through a file, you can use the start session in the JSON package. Now the start session has two options. Either you can pass a JSON file or you can pass the JSON response in a variable. Now that you have established the session using the start session command, you can go for extracting the required details. If you're taking the same example, at the root level, if you need the order ID, you need a single value from the JSON response. You can go for get node value, pass the path, that is the key here, and then you will get the value. Consider if your use case, you need to grab all the values in the list, then you can go for get node list, use a loop through those items, and you can use either get node value or you can use the other brand new commands, that is convert dictionary to JSON. And then from the dictionary, you can pick the required values. Once you are done with extracting the required fields with either of these commands, make sure you end the session to free up the memory. The other common use case, which is a very interesting one for using JSON, is invoice processing. So if you are extracting this, if you are extracting and structuring invoice data in a JSON format, or if you are using document automation and you have uploaded the documents and you want to manipulate the data before either you download the CSV file, or if basically you want to add additional business scenarios before pushing it into the validator, you can get the entire response in the JSON and you can manipulate the data, and then you can push it back to the next system to do the next set of steps. There is another use case, that is form recognizer from Azure. So if you are, again, this is for the same document automation use case. If you're using form recognizer from Azure, then you will upload the documents and the response or the extracted information you will get in JSON. So once you get the extracted information of the details of your invoice, you can use the JSON package, parse it to get the required details. So these are the common use cases where we'll extensively use JSON package. So now, before a couple of minutes, Arjun was talking about a simple JSON. That is a demo. That is the first use case. We'll look at different approaches we can use to solve or to parse the JSON in efficient manner. Basically, in this demo, I'll be showing for the same JSON file, we can look at solving or extracting the information in 3 different ways. The first approach is, before to that, let me show you the JSON. So this is a JSON. I'm using a website called jasonpathfinder.com so that it will be easy for us to look at the different nodes and then the index positions and also to get the path while extracting the required details. So this is a simple JSON file which Arjun has shared. Now, if you see, this is an array and it has different objects inside it. Basically, it is key value pairs. If you see here, the timestamp value, we have the another data type that is Boolean. Remote value is true or false. We have the active, total, pending, and conflicts as a number data type. Consider the first approach. What I'm trying to get is, go back to the slides. So get a node list from the root level. This is at the root level. And then basically I'm storing that in a list. The second step will be, once I get all this information, I'm looping through. Why I want a loop is basically I need to get the information from this node, second node, and third node. The first node, the index will be 0, 1, and 2. So basically I'm looping through the list, and then for the current object in the loop, I'm starting a JSON session, and then I'm passing the required values using getNodeValue command. So to get the required value in the current node, this is the current node, I need to pass the key. That is, if I want to extract the active, I need to pass the key as active, and then the value will be returned as 0. And then in the loop, it will first extract this information, followed by second node and the third node. And if you see at the right, just to give you a gist of how how you can grab the path. So at the 0th index, if I expand this, you have these values, is nothing but this node. Now, if you need a path to grab the active value, you can give at 0th index dot active to get the value of 0. And the same goes for other things. Now we'll look at how to grab the duration value from this node. That is at the second index. If I click here, the path is number 2 dot duration. 2 is nothing but the index. Now going back, we have seen the solution 1. The second solution is, again, it is the same. Get the node list from the root level, and then we are storing it in a list. The interesting part here is, now I have everything in a list variable. Using the list, in the list command package, we have a command where we can get the size of the list. Here it is, here the size of the list is 3. At 0th index, we have first node, second node, and third node. Basically, I'm looping through the list here using the list, the size times. And then I'm grabbing the values using the index. So you have seen, if you want to grab the total value or duration using the index that is at 0th position, first position, second position, you can use this second way of or solution 2 to grab the values. The solution 3 is a bit more complex one. Complex, I'll not say it as a complex. You have extra step, that is, you will grab the node list from the root level and you will store it in a list. And then you're going to loop through the list. For the current object, you will start a JSON session, and then you will use there's a new command that is convert JSON to dictionary, and then store the results in a dictionary variable. Now you have all the information in a dictionary variable. Now we are going to use dictionary command packages, that is get value, in the last step to fetch the required values. And you need to pass the key to get the values from the dictionary. That is nothing but the key. If you want to grab the active value from the dictionary, you need to pass the value as active. If you want to get the duration value, we need to pass the key as a duration. So we'll talk, we'll look at the demo, and then how to solve this in the 3 different ways, and we'll go for solution. We'll go for next use case. So here I'm using the community edition for solving this JSON or passing this JSON. The first solution is I'm using JSON package. If I search for JSON, this is a JSON package, and the current version, you can check the current version from here. The current version of JSON is being used is 1.6.0. If you have not upgraded this to the latest one, you will not see the JSON to dictionary conversion commands. Return back to my editor. Now the first solution is I'm using the JSON start session. Let me search for JSON. The first step is to use the JSON start session. And in the JSON start session, I have 2 options to input the JSON value, that is either to the file or to the text. For this demo, I'm going through the text option. I have given my JSON that I need to parse. Now there is a second command that I'm using, that is get node list. That is here, get node list. And I need to pass the node key or path. Here I am passing $2 basically to get the root level of the values, basically everything which is here, that is the entire thing that is here. And then I'm storing that in a list variable. Now that I have all the 3 nodes in the list, I'm using the loop command. Basically, I'm iterating all the nodes using the list, that is for each item in a list. I'm passing the list variable here from the step 3. And then I'm assigning the current list item to a variable. Now the current list item will hold the first node, which is at 0th index. Now, if you see here, I'm again starting a new session. Here I'm giving the session value as default 1, and I'm grabbing the current list item value from this loop. Now, there's a solution solution 1 is very simple one. I'm using directly get node value command. I'm passing the key, or you can pass either a JSON node key or path. Here I'm passing the value that is the duration, and I'm storing the value of the duration in S duration variable. Now I'm doing the same for total, conflicts, pending, active, timestamp, and remote. These are nothing but the values. Basically, these are the values that I'm passing. Now, inside this loop, for the current node, once I grab all these values, I'm using a message box to display all these details. And make sure you close or end the JSON session. Here I'm closing the default 1 session, and outside the loop, I'm closing the main default session. Now let me run the bot, and let me go back to this so we can see all the details. Now, once the bot executes, it will first grab the 0th node. If you see here, active is 0, total is 2, pending 0, 0, 10, timestamp, and false. That is, bot has grabbed the node which is at 0th index. And if I close, it will give me the details of second node, that is this. And then the third node. If you see, the duration value is 10. Now let me disable the solution 1, enable solution 2.
Chand, while you are moving on to solution 2,
Okay.
there's one question. What if the node values are dynamic?
What if the node values are dynamic?
Since we are using a JSON already, which we have received earlier,
Exactly. Yeah.
wouldn't that be like straight?
I mean,
Wally, Wally, can you explain like what scenarios are you looking at node values being dynamic? Because say, for example, in this in the demo which Chand is showcasing, he is already reading a specific JSON which you would have probably received from a web service as a response. Are you expecting like it's for like different web services, the responses are different? That's how are you looking at dynamic? Okay, we'll wait for her to come back.
okay. So we'll move on to solution 2. Again, the same procedure, only I'm using, what I'm using different is the loop here. So the first step is, again, I'm starting the JSON session. I'm passing the JSON value in the text. The second step is I'm grabbing the entire root node and I'm storing it in a list variable. Now we'll see what is in the list command, which is here. We have a command package to get the size. It is here. Basically, it retrieves the number of items in the list and assign to a number variable. Now, basically what this step does is, in this list, it will give me the size in a number variable. So for the current JSON, the size will be of 3 because it has 3 nodes in it. Now I'm using the loop command. I'm looping through 10 loop times. I'm passing the list size that I got from step 19, and I'm assigning the n counter value to have to hold inside the loop. We need I'm holding the current counter value. Now the next step is, if you see in any JSON, the first value, I mean the index starts with 0. That is, you see here it starts with 0th index. Now the current inside the loop, the very first value I'll get is 1. So basically I'm using the number package to decrement the n counter to 1, and I'm storing it back to the n counter number variable. So that I can grab the values from the first node. And inside this loop, I'm decrementing it in the counter and I'm using the get node value. It is same. The only difference is here I'm passing the n counter value and I'm converting it into a toString because the value which I'm getting here is a number and dot duration. So how I'm getting this path is, you see this example, if I click on active, you can see it is this one. At 0th index, I have active. The same thing if you want at index 1, it will be 1.active. And if you want the details from index 2, it will be 2.pending. Now I'm doing the same step for fetching the information of total, conflicts, pending, active, timestamp, and remote. And then I'm using the message box to display the details. Now let me run the bot and go back to this. So bot should display the details of this node first, followed by second and third. If you can see, it is 0, 2, 0, 0, 10, timestamp, and false. You have second node, and this is the third node. Now let me disable the solution 2 and enable the solution 3. So
There's a
here I'm
question,
repeating
Chand, why there is no new session in solution 2?
why there is no.
new session. Like we used a new session in solution one, right?
Okay. So here, if in the solution two, I'm not looping through the node list. What I'm trying to do is I'm grabbing the list size, and in the loop, if you see here, I'm looping through n times using this end list size number. That's why I no need to have uh, I no need to start a new JSON session. So I'm using the path value here to grab the values inside this loop.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Please go ahead.
So in the solution three, again, I'm following the same steps. I'm passing the JSON value in the text, and I'm grabbing the JSON value at the root level and storing it in a list. And I'm looping through this list now. So and inside the loop, I'm storing the current value of the node in this variable. Because I'm looping through this list to answer the previous question. I'm looping through the list. That is why I'm starting a new session, because I need a different session to hold the first node, second node, and third node. Now I'm using a new command from JSON package, that is convert JSON to dictionary, that is here. Now what this command does is basically it will take the list or the JSON of the first node, and it will store it. It will store the details of the JSON into a dictionary variable. Now, what is the advantage of this step? If you have seen in solution 2 and solution 1, so I'll just show you. If I want to create any variable, right? By default, it is string. Now, if you are fetching the value which is a number or which is a Boolean, now we need to do explicit typecast the way how I'm doing it here. This is as an example I'm saying counter dot toString. You need to do explicit typecasting to fetch the values. The advantage of using this convert JSON to dictionary new command is now you have two options here. One is storing entire thing in the dictionary. And in the use case two, I'll show you how to grab the values using multiple variables. Now, if you are fetching a number, you can use multiple variables, and while you are clicking on the X here, it'll directly give you the option of creating the variables in the desired data type. That is, it might be a number or it might be a Boolean, instead of restricting you always to hold the string value. Now for this solution 3, I'm just storing the details in the DJSON variable, that is a dictionary. And here and again, I'm using in the dictionary get value of the key that is active. This is a key that I'm passing. And I'm storing the results in the inactive variable. Same thing, I'm doing it for total, pending, conflicts, duration, timestamp, and remove. Once I get all these details, I'm displaying it in a message box. Let me run this. Go back to the screen. So bot will first grab this node, convert this JSON to a dictionary, and then I'm using, now everything is in dictionary. Now I'm using the dictionary command package, get value of this key value pairs or this active field by passing the key as active to get the value as 0. If you see here, these are the details of the first node, which is at 0th index. This is a second node, and this is a third. So for the given JSON, we can solve or we can provide solutions in different ways. Now you can decide whichever solution works for you based on the use case and the different scenarios you are working with. So let me go back to my slide. Now we have seen the first use case and the 3 solutions for extracting the same output. Now we'll go to the second use case. This is a very interesting one where you are using Ola Maps Places API and you are calculating the distance and then you are using reverse geocoding. Uh, in the starting, I was talking about you will fetch the latitude and longitude details of a place and then you will pass the details to a location IQ API to get the human readable address of that place. So in
John,
this use
before you
case,
continue
okay,
here, would you like to just ask learners, like, how many of you have heard of Ola Maps? I assume a lot of people, at least in India, know about Ola Maps. Folks outside, have you heard of this? Okay, I do get some response. Yes, they've heard of it. So it's very similar to what Google Maps has. And this is a solution which is coming from a company called Ola, which is based out of India. So they provide mapping solutions very similar to what Google Maps provides you with all the API services, just as a background for you.
and just to add that there is a latest news where you can access this API and for 1 year, I think it is free of cost.
Okay, thank you for the responses. Yeah, it's like mostly people outside India may not be very familiar. So just wanted to share this. Thank you.
Yeah,
Over to you, John.
thanks, Arjun. So we'll be using Ola Maps endpoint, that is Ola Maps Places API. What it does is, if you want to, basically this API is used for accessing geolocation services such as Places Autocomplete. Um, Considering the audience, if you are using Uber or if you are using any taxi booking application in your phone, basically you will start typing few characters and then automatically it gives you suggestions or it will fill it. Basically, the behind the scenes it's using this sort of API to give you the auto completions. Now, I'm not going to use this API to simplify or to keep the demo as simple. Instead, I'm going to use this sample JSON, which is here for the demonstration. Now, let me show you this in JSON Pathfinder. So this is a JSON example for the auto completions API, which you have seen. And to the right side, if you see the JSON structure is at the root level, you have um, three objects, that is error message, that is blank, and info message. It is an empty array. And the third object is predictions, which is an array which has different objects here. And if I expand the prediction at 0th index, you have a bunch of objects with different data types. If you see the distance meters, this is a number. And if you see the reference, this is a text. And the interesting part that is inside the terms at 0th index, you have other bunch of values. Now, this is a complex JSON. Uh, what I did is, before to this demo, everything is inside the prediction object. I have modified this JSON so that in the demo, I can show you how to interact with different data types in the complex JSON. The modifications I made to this JSON response is here. Basically, I grabbed the terms, I added the new ID and locations outside the predictions node. That is, I have added that to the root level, not inside the prediction. So if you see the things, if you see to the right side, I have the error message that's blank. I have info message that is empty array. And then I have ID, that is a number, terms. If I expand the terms, I have at 0th values, I have offset and value. And at the location, I have latitude and longitude. And at the predictions, I have the other values. Now let me go back to my slide. So what we are going to do in the second use case, the very first step is I want to extract the distance, basically grab the distance value, which is in meters from the API response. That is this one, which is at 0, which is basically I want to grab the distance value that is in meters and I want to convert this into kilometers, and I want to store this at the root level. That is, we minimize turns, location, predictions at here. Somewhere here, not inside the predictions. That is the first task I have. And then in the next step, so basically convert to kilometers. This is a formula that I'll be using using the number package, that is 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. And then I'm adding that updated node at the root level, which has the kilometers value. And I'm also adding a key value pair that shows the distance. You will see this in the demo. Now at the fourth stage, what I'm doing is I'm converting this entire JSON with different objects or with the objects with different data types into a dictionary. For that, I'm going to utilize the JSON to dictionary command for passing the complex JSON. And then I'm going to explain you, before few minutes, I was talking about what is the advantage of using directly a dictionary variable versus assigning multiple variables with the right data types. Once this step is done, I'm going to grab the latitude and longitude values, and then I'm going to use the reverse geocoding. That is, if you key in the latitude and longitude to an API, that is here I'm using location IQ API. What it does is it will take the latitude and longitude and it will give you the human readable address. So let me go back here. So from the location object, I'm going to grab this latitude and longitude value, and then I'm going to consume location IQ API. You can play around with this API. It is, if you access this link and if you create an account, it is easy. Yeah, here is, you will land into this page and you can grab your access token from here. If you click on show token, it will give you an access token. That's it. You are ready to use this API. If you see this example, this is a get request. You are hitting this endpoint. You are passing your API key here. And if you can key in the latitude value and longitude value, and then if you click on, if you are using Postman, you can click on the send button, you will get the response of the human readable address. This is how the JSON response looks. You'll get bunch of details, and what we are trying to do is once I grab the latitude and longitude value from the JSON, I'm going to fetch this node, that is display name, and grab the required value based on my latitude and longitude, and then update back to the same locations node, that is this one. It is here. Currently, the location node has only two values, that is latitude and longitude. I'm going to add a new node called address with display name value. That is the second demo background. Now we'll just see how things work in action. For this demo, I'll use the debug option and I'll show you the each and every step, how things are working behind the scenes. Let me keep a breakpoint here. Now I'm clicking on add all variable values. Let me keep this aside. I'm clicking on display button. So once it starts the debugging, I'll go line by line and we can see how things are working exactly. Keep this here. So again, the first step here, I'm using the JSON start session. And for this also, I'm using the text and I'm passing the JSON value here. This is my JSON and this is my session value. Now for the very first step, my intention is to grab the distance value, which is in meters. For this, I'm using get node value command and I'm passing the key as predictions 0.distance meter. How I got this value, or if you want to visualize to your use case, you can use JSONpathfinder.com, or if you can use VS Code, there also you can get this. Now here, let me minimize this expand predictions, my distance meter is here. If you see, I'm using the same path, that is predictions, which is at 0th index dot distance underscore meters. And in the visual VS Code, if you highlight this, you can see the details here. Again, whichever is comfortable, you can use that website or the other tool to get the path. Let me go back here. We are at this step. I'm passing the path and I'm storing the value in this variable, that is distance underscore meters. Now, the value that I fetched is in string. Now I'm using number variable to do the conversion, that is to number. This is a value. This is a variable that is holding the distance value in meters, and I am doing the conversion to number. And this is a math that I am doing, that is the distance meters by 1000 to get the value in the kilometers. Now I want to restrict the value after 3 decimals. That is why I'm using number2.to strings, which has an option to restrict the decimals. If you give 3, it will hold dot 3 values in the decimal, and I'm storing it back to distance underscore kilometers. Now we have seen the conversion. So basically, just to sum up, we have grabbed the value from distance underscore meters, which is in meters. I have done the conversion and I have the value readily available in this variable. Now what I'm trying to do is, now I'm going to add this extracted details into a new node at the root level. Now let me debug this. We are at step 3. Let me go to step 4. Here the variable is distance meters. Scroll this. So if you can see, the distance is this 31312. Now I'm converting that to a number. That is, it should, in distance underscore meter should hold the value now. It is at 3132. Now let me go back to this conversion. After step 8, I'll show you the distance. That is distance underscore kilometer. That is 31.312. If you see here 31.312, I need the values up to 3 decimals. That is why I'm doing this step here. Now we are at step 9. I'm using add node value with. So basically, I want to add a new node. So for this, I'm using JSON command called add node value. At the root level, I need to add a new node, that is distance underscore kilometers. I'm adding the value as distance underscore kilometer, what I grabbed from the previous step, which is a string. And then I'm adding a new key called unit of distance, that is kilometer. Now everything is tied up to this session, that is at this level. Now let me go to the next step. Okay, now I'm using a 12th step. I'm using the convert JSON to dictionary to see the output. So there's an interesting part. Now the DJSON response should hold, click on this. Now DJSON response should hold the new value that we have created. That is this node, distance underscore kilometer. This is a node that we added to the existing JSON. Now if I click on this, it has 2 values, that is distance in kilometers and unit of distance, that is kilometers. Now let me go back. Before we move further, I want to show you this complex JSON, how it looks, and what is the difficulty while extracting the information. This is the entire JSON that I got. These are the couple of objects that we have. This is a node that we added, distance kilometers, and this is a key with terms. If you see, it is a list. If I click on list, at 0th index, we have dictionary. Now, if I click on the dictionary, inside that we have offset and value. Consider if you are going for a traditional method, if you want to get the value that is a final value that is at here, or offset value, you need to loop through this list and get the details to a dictionary variable. And then you need to use again a dictionary command to fetch the variables, which is again a long route. Instead, if you want to extract any complex information which has nesting like this, you can go for the new command packages, that is convert JSON to dictionary, or the vice versa based on the scenarios that you have. Now I want to show you the interesting one, that is the predictions. Now there's a list. If I click on this list, it says at 0th index, I have a dictionary and it has 7 key value pairs. If you see, reference is a text, and the types, again, it is a list. It has 3 values at 0th index, airport, 1 and 2. And this is a matched substrings. It is a list. Inside the list at 0th index, we have a dictionary, and these are the values inside the dictionary. And then you have again some values here. If you say this, inside this list, inside this dictionary, you have a list. And if I click on this list, at 0th index, you have a dictionary, and these are the values. This is a very complex one, and you can use this conversion to grab any of these values. Just to sum up what we did earlier was, I'm inside this predictions. I extracted the value of this distance, and at the root level, I made the conversion into kilometers and I added it here. That's why you are seeing distance underscore kilometers. Now we are coming back to the code. We are at step 14, where we are at step 12. Okay, here. So now we are going to look at what are the advantages of using the direct dictionary for convert JSON to dictionary versus the multiple variables. Now, if I use direct JSON response, and if I want to grab any of these values, you have seen in first use case also, I need to use JSON get value. And if you want to fetch 4 values, it will be of 4 extra lines. Now, if you are going for the other approach, that is multiple variables, which is at here, step number 14. If you create a X, since it is a debug mode, you are not able to see. But once this demo is done, I'll show you. If you click on the X here while creating a variable, it will give you an option to select the right data type. That might be a number, list, dictionary, string. So you can directly assign the value to the right data type. You no need to write extra lines of code for parsing the different data types. That is the advantage of using convert JSON to dictionary with multiple variables. Now for this example, if you see here, I'm assigning ID directly to the n ID variable. Terms, since the terms is a list, if you see terms is a list, I'm assigning it to a list variable. Location is a dictionary. I'm assigning to a location variable. Status is a string. So I'm assigning to it, and the distance underscore kilometers is a dictionary. I'm assigning it back to distance underscore kilometers. Now that I have the value of the location, that is D location, which is here. Now I'm going to use this dictionary to grab this latitude and longitude values for doing the reverse geocoding, basically to pass these values to the location IQ API and get the human readable address. This is the definition of it. And okay. Now I have converted in this step the required values using multiple variables. I have the D. I have the location in a D dictionary location variable. So again, I'm converting at this step 18, and I'm storing the dictionary value to a JSON. Let me go back and let me come back. I'm at 14th step. Let me come back to 18. Okay. Now I'm using the start session with default 2 as a session value. Again, I'm here I'm using a local session. Now I was talking about the conversion, right? So here I'm assigning the longitude value directly to a number. Since it is a number, I'm doing same for latitude. Let me come back to this step. Here I'm using again a number package to grab the value of this number, and I'm restricting it to the 5 digits. So I can get the latitude value. The reason why it is, let me go back to JSON location. If you see here, basically this conversion is giving me a long number. So basically I'm using the toString to restrict it to 5 digits. So after this step, if you see here, I'm storing the values in S latitude and longitude, which is at here. If you see the values, S latitude holds this value, S longitude holds this value. And then at step 27, I'm making the API call. Here I'm using the get web service get method. I grab the value, I grab the endpoint from the location IQ website. I'm passing the key here. I'm passing the latitude, S latitude and longitude values from the above steps. And if you see here, I'm fetching the response, and again, I'm storing the response of this API call in this dictionary. And using the start session, I'm passing this API response body to the start session to extract the value of display name key. Now, I'll just show you the response of this API will be. Let's come back to the VS Code. So this is what the API response will be. I'm trying to expand, I'm trying to extract this node that with key as display name to get this. Let me go back to the code. We are at here, step 27. Now it has done the API call. It has started the JSON session. Now it is grabbing the value and from this node, and we are storing this value uh, at the root level, right? That is our use case. So what I'm doing at line number 30 is I'm adding a empty node at the root level. Sorry, I'm adding the node called address at the root level with empty value. And in the second step, I'm adding the extracted address from the API call. That is from step 29. Now I'm hitting enter. I'm at line number 32. I'm converting the entire JSON to dictionary again to see the output. Now I have the value, updated value at D location. Now earlier the D location dictionary has only two key value pairs, that is latitude and longitude. Now after this step, we have added a new key that is address, and it has the value of this, that is St. Joseph Indian High School, which is mapped to that latitude and longitude. And then I'm closing all the sessions that I have opened in this bot. So let me close this. So just to sum up, what we have done here in this use case is we have grabbed the distance from the JSON, which is in meters. We have done the conversions to kilometers, and we have added that to the root level. And then we have done the conversion JSON to dictionary, and we have seen what are the advantages of directly using the, directly creating the dictionary variable where we have the ability, where we have a restriction to store the value only in string, versus if you use the multiple variables, it will give an option to store the data type in the desired format. And then I'm using the reverse geocoding using the location IQ variable, location IQ endpoint to convert the latitude and longitude to the human readable address. So I covered this from here, and we are fetching back to here. Yeah. Over to you, Arjun. I covered the demos that I have planned.
Awesome. Thank you. There's one question like, is there a reason why you use the add node value and then you added the value in the update node value? Why that extra line? Like, can you do this in the single line itself?
Yes, we can do, but I just wanted to show that like basically I'm adding a address node which has no value, and then I'm adding the address to. You can do it single line as well.
Got it. Thank you for that clarification. Okay, I hope these two demos were useful for you to get a hang of how you can use like different actions in this package. So now that we have showcased these demos, we also would like to show you what is covered as part of Docs portal. Because what we do is like we have different sources where we kind of share information with you for you to learn different actions in each of these packages. One is through Automation Anywhere University, which is mainly through video type of content. But we also have Docs portal where we write it in the text format to so that you can kind of read through each of the different configurations available. To show you that, I would like to invite Anubha Jha to show us what you have on Docs portal related to this package.
Yeah, sure, Rajan. Let me share my screen and
Sure.
let's get started. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. I'm Anubha Jha from the documentation team. And today I would like to take you through our product documentation portal where we have documented the content for JSON package. So this is our homepage, as you can see. And our product documentation portal is a public site that can be accessed by all, which means if you provide this URL, docs.automationanywhere.com, you can access all the content on our Docs portal. But if you are a logged in user, you have an added advantage. That is, you can access some of the features of our Docs portal, and I'll be talking about those features a little later. So here we recommend our user to log in by, providing their credentials. Okay, so let's move on. You can do a quick search here, and that should pull up the documentation for JSON package. So here in the result page, you can see the JSON package. Click. So here is the topic with an overview. Now, coming to this TOC, table of content, this is the main landing page, and these are all the child topics under it. So these child topics are basically the actions which are available within the JSON package. Now, on this page, you can see that, we have presented the information into different sections for better readability. That covers the contextual information with summary of benefits, supported JSON data types, structure, and then some best practices or consideration when you use the actions in the JSON package. Here we have a list of all the actions and the corresponding links to the topics. So you can either navigate to the action topics from here, or you can also do it from the TOC. Now I'll just show you quickly one action. So in these action topics, we explain the steps that has to be performed to get a particular result, right? Now, coming back to the main landing page. Now, this section comprises of some useful resources such as a learning course from Automation Anywhere University, a video which can be accessed from here, or you can watch it in YouTube that demonstrate how to use a JSON package. Nonetheless, we have also developed some, automation building examples using JSON actions. Now, these examples are a valuable resource for our developers to build simple or complex automations for their day-to-day work. So in short, these resources helps you to leverage the automations effectively and also helps to serve and also help you to serve to build the automation. I mean, basically, it helps you to demonstrate and build the automations effectively. So this is all about the JSON package documentation. So as we are talking about JSON packages, I also quickly want to talk about two pages, which is A360 package pages and the periodic package pages. And periodic package pages is basically the packages that are released, within the main releases. So with every A360 releases, some packages are updated with new features, enhancements, or bug fixes. And that changes the package version. Now, to know more about these changes, you can always come to these pages, right? This is the main release page, and this is the periodic package page. So you can come to these pages and you can get the consolidated information about all these changes that went in a specific release. Now, more detailed information about these changes is just a click away in the respective package page. So here I'll just take the example of JSON package updates. Now on this page, it provides you the information about the changes or the updates that were made in the package, along with the summary of versioning details of all the releases at one place. Now, if you look into these metadatas, these are like very helpful, which gives you an idea like, when were these packages released, the dates, and what was the release type? Was it released through, your main package release or through periodic package updates? Right? Now, the question comes, how is it going to help the user? So providing this level of details helps a user to get all the updates about the packages. And most importantly, it helps the user to take an informed decision, before updating their bots to a newer version. Now, you can also navigate to these pages from the, you know, uh, from this home page. So here it is, like you can come to these pages, you can click on release notes and you can see these package updates .33. So this is the latest release which went recently. So this is for main releases, and then for periodic package updates, as I showed you here, you can click on this and you can come to this page to get all the updates, what's happening in the packages, right? Now, I was in the beginning, I said, I'll be talking about some of the features we have or we provide on the Docs portal. So let's quickly cover up those features. The icons which you see it over here, like a watch button, feedback button. Now, to know what's coming up in a topic, right? Or what's being updated in a topic. So you can always enable this watch button so that whenever an update is made or something has been added to a topic, you can get an update or you can get notified through a email ID, right? Lastly, we always welcome feedback from our users. So if you find any topic useful or if you have any suggestions, any feedback, you can use this feedback mechanism. And you can also navigate to the bottom of this page and use these buttons, right? It will open up the page and here you can add your suggestions, any improvements which you would like to see in our docs, right? And just click the send feedback button. Just one important thing to note over here. If you are a logged in user, the email ID is captured automatically. But in case if you are not logged in, just ensure to add your email ID so that, once we have addressed your feedback, right? Any suggestions, or if we want to get back to you, we can revert using the email ID which has been provided. So this is what I had to share over to you, Arjun. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks a lot, Anupa. I hope this was useful for folks so that you can make the best use of our docs portal as well. So we are done with the demos, and Anu also showed us how to use the docs portal. We are almost at the end of this session. I just would like to request for your feedback. I hope you like this session. So I've just shared that link for sharing your feedback. If you could just share your feedback. We would like to know how this session went, if it was useful, if there is anything which you would like to improve on it. We are more than happy to do. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you would like us to cover in the next sessions. You can always write to us at community@automationanywhere.com. And we also host these sessions on a monthly basis. So the easiest way for you to get to see what sessions we are coming at next is like just head on to community.automationanywhere.com. Just go to this community section, and then on the right side under the programs section, if you click on the developer meetups, you will be able to see the next set of sessions. You can just click on participate button. If you are interested to like also speak at our meetups, if you have expertise to share on how to use our platform, just like how Chan did today, feel free to do using this nominate button. For now, I'm going to click on participate, join a meetup button. Here, we already have scheduled a couple of meetups in the future. In the next month, on August 29th, we're going to talk about introducing AI Agent Studio. How can you build AI agents using the Automation Anywhere platform, how this platform has enough guardrails for you so that you can feel comfortable with how developers are using GenAI to build prompts and also pass the data from your automations. And in September, we are also going to talk about Automation Anywhere control room APIs. I'll pass this direct link as well in the chat window, so feel free to take a look at these links and sign up for the upcoming sessions. Also, just one more request, please do share feedback about the session about the LinkedIn post I have shared the link for. Okay, that's all I had to share. Thanks a lot, Chand, for sharing your knowledge and insights on how to use JSON package and the different actions. And thanks a lot, learners, for joining us for this session. And we also have Aaron and also Jignesh helping us answer a lot of your questions. So thanks a lot for that. And thanks, Anubha, for sharing feedback, sharing how to use our docs portal. I hope this was useful for you. We will see you next month in our next session. Till then, take care and have a good rest of your day. Thank you and bye.
Thank you, everyone.